Well, I was hoping to get information exchange experience with colleagues who are running decentralization projects or are programs, and who are considering decentralization in the other delegations, to exchange information, see the challenges they faced, see sort of what Commission policy is in the other countries. So that's been met. It's been a very dynamic discussion.
I was very much interested in the topic when I read decentralization and local governance, because it is somehow related to these initiatives that we are developing in this direct centralized management in Brussels, because we are working with partner countries and we are establishing a network of contacts, and we are constantly mentioning local ownership and sustainability of the actions and the governance of this network, and there were all these concepts that we had to integrate somehow. And although I am acquainted with governance and like the European Union position and so on and so forth, I still don't see it happening. So I wanted to dig in and know more about all these topics, and in order to integrate this in my daily work.
First of all, to share experiences with other colleagues from headquarters and delegations, and other experts from the field. And I think even if we are only halfway in the workshop, my expectations have been met up to now. Some of the subjects have been dealt with maybe in a hurry, and every subject brought up requires additional questions, and so the time sometimes is too short, but we have to deal with that. And probably what needs to be done is efforts from all of us, headquarters, people from delegations, to continue the discussion. We are in a new phase in our programming cycle. We have new policy guidelines, and we are in a moment that we need to adapt. We need to take the opportunity to change some of our approaches. After attending these workshops, people should think, but how come I didn't think about decentralization up to now? How can you do support to any sector without thinking about decentralization and how decentralization might impact on governance? So these are the kind of thought that came along the workshop, and I think it will be better probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, also because tomorrow there will be my presentation, so of course it will improve tremendously.
In fact, since there were no recent training on decentralization and local governance, I was very much interested, because if I remember well, the previous one was in 2009, so I was really interested to know whether any evolution from the perspective of the headquarters, how to better support decentralization and local governance, especially in the context of change of the Commission with the recent document, Busan document, and the agenda for change. So I was very much interested to know what was the point of view of the headquarters, but also, and I think this was the main focus of the training that I found through CISLOG, was also sharing experience from the field. And this was for me the most important, because I think that's where lessons learned, sharing of experience and lessons learned are coming from, on which we can build on and take experience and build other process in other countries and replicate or take ideas.
One of the challenges we face is in relation to changing procedures and policies, and yes, it was interesting to see that the same challenge is faced by others on even a worse scale than we've faced in Cambodia.
There's a big disconnection, a big gap between what is happening in delegations, what's happening on the spot, what's happening there, and what's happening in headquarters.
Not real surprises, but probably some confirmation that the whole issue of decentralization and how we deal with decentralization and governance is not black and white. It's not casted in stones, and so there are a lot of questions that need to be raised and answers that need to be found. So it's not a surprise, but it's a confirmation that a lot of work needs to be done. from our side?
I think the headquarters is very much open to that. I think this is also a very a change. Working in I've been working in the headquarters before, but also working in delegation. Very often, we have confrontation with programming, procedure, deadline, and in fact, it seems that the objective and the purpose is really to promote the idea of going step by step, making more analysis, which are the key message we can find in Busan and Agenda for Change. But apparently there is a strong willingness to put that into practice. And when we learn from the experience from the field, that's what we learn. When it works, it's also because it's step by step. Don't be too precise right at the beginning. You need a vision. And this is very encouraging to see that, well, headquarters is really interested to know more on that, to use that and to make it work. And I really hope that from there, this will be also a kind of political message which is going to be provided, given on not only as horizontally but vertically, because I think this is the message which needs to be done on the political dimension. And I'm very happy, not surprised, but I would say happy to see that political dimension is really now connected to development cooperation. And if, even at the level of the delegation, we are working hand in hand in the analysis process and working together with political dimension, I think it will make things move in the right direction.
I'd like them to be communicated to the hierarchy. I think that would be important. Some of the challenges on the ground, there's often a very big disconnect between the field and headquarters in any institution. So if these can be communicated in a constructive manner, that would be a positive outcome.
I think we are all very excited, and there's many topics arising. Although I'm not familiar with all of them, I'm very happy I'm discovering new things. But I would really wish that this working group, or it is not still a working group, but we create a kind of working group to share best practices, or that we manage to create a forum or a shared space for fostering, in order to foster all these ideas.
I think I don't know if sort of networking, take into account the workload that we are facing at the delegation, is going to work, and in which way is going to work. But definitely we need to have some sort of follow-up. We have been discussing some key themes like political economic analysis, for example, and probably there will be a need to do some follow-up workshop, if we can call it that way, preceded by some sort of information sharing, especially from delegations like Mozambique, where these kind of exercises are taking place right now, and could be in a form of training. Probably regional training would be more interesting, because the differences between regions and continents are so wide that in order to have a better focus in our discussion, sometimes regional workshop could be more effective. So that could be one of the way forward.
I think the best things can happen to us would be to see more regular follow-up on that. I hope there will not be 3 more years again before there is next opportunity to exchange best practice, but also virtually. And I think Capacity for Dev is a very good platform for that we can remain connected, and we keep continuing dialoguing on this, because I think it's very important, and it's very important that we keep in contact to keep continuing sharing our experience, and that's how make the kind of snowball effect, and where we could contribute better. And networking, I think it's key that networkings remain in place on a regular basis.